Let's now turn our attention back to the set design paintings of art director Jack Shampan. The first design we shall look at on this tape depicts the hospital operating theatre as seen in A Change of Mind. It reveals one of the more menacing facets that hides behind the facade of the apparently carefree village. The impressionistic rendering of the sinister characters that are shown in this setting enhances their clinical disregard for their future patient. The painting goes into great detail to indicate the technical setup required for number 6's neurological operation. All of this apparatus was carried through to the finished setting, even down to the suspended camera and the wall-mounted monitor screen. It is possible that all this equipment was obtained prior to the rendering the design. If this was the case, this painting was probably produced to establish the size of the setting required to accommodate all the necessary apparatus. However, the most interesting feature of this design is undoubtedly the lighting panels, which are one of the most dominant aspects of the set. For the year in which The Prisoner was produced, it was an accepted practice for the benefit of easy lighting to construct studio sets that only had 3 walls. It was very unusual, therefore, to build enclosed studio settings. Furthermore, to make a design feature of the principal lighting source was virtually unheard of. This is just one more example of how The Prisoner and its art director Jack Shampan paved the way for future set designers. The second painting we shall look at is a more extreme example of an enclosed setting. As well as having a 4-walled room in the background, the cylindrical room in the foreground has a ceiling, which for the purposes of filming makes it a very difficult set to light. This problem is inherently solved by using lighting panels similar to the ones utilized in our previous design. The cylindrical room is most prominently seen in It's Your Funeral, from where Wanda Ventham prepares her activity prognosis on number 6. In this episode, she is depicted sitting at number 2's control desk. This is indicated in Jack's original design, but he had planned it to be facing in the opposite direction. The same computer room can also be seen in Hammer into Anvil. The room's last appearance can be found in A Change of Mind, where number 6 is given his medical by the doctor played by George Pravda. In the very next scene, the room is used again as the aversion therapy chamber. This is a rather daring and cheeky redressing of a set, as the original setting is seen only a few seconds before, just down the corridor. The more conventional room at the back of the painting was used as a hospital observation room in several episodes, such as The Chimes of Big Ben and Checkmate. The third and last painting we shall look at before returning to the interviews shows the mind transference machine developed by Professor Seltzman in the episode Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling. Again, the art department, headed by Jack Shampan, has made good use of existing props and sets. The dentist's chairs appeared in our first design, which showed the hospital operating theatre. The oscilloscope in the foreground was used many times in the early episodes. At the back of this set, the keyhole doorway from our previous painting has been built into the wall. And for one last time, Jack incorporated the wall lighting panels into one of his set designs. This is yet another classic example of the reuse of elements contained in existing settings. Like our first painting, this design goes into great detail to show the technical setup required for the episode. The blue hue over the machine acts only as an indication to the MGM Special Effects Department of the required visual effect. They took this idea one stage further by adding electronic arcing as well as a glowing aurora. It's best for us to view the next 3 paintings as a set. They all depict scenes that take place inside the village hospital, 2 of which are from the opening sequence of Hammer into Anvil. The first of these shows number 6 running up a flight of stairs, hotly pursued by another character, possibly a doctor. To To the left of the picture is an entrance to a ward, as seen in several early episodes. The feeling of a genuine hospital has been achieved by the propping of 2 fire buckets and a trolley on the opposite side of the hallway. At the bottom of the picture is the contorted figure of a man in village clothing who has possibly been knocked to the ground by the single-minded number 6. The second painting in our hospital trio shows number 6's goal, number 73, who is being interrogated by number 2. This is a somewhat disappointing rendering of the scene, as it doesn't fully convey the actions intended in the original script. With number 2 standing thoughtfully at the window, away from his victim, it fails to show the contempt he feels for the innocent number 73. Now, this is a good example of how, although the paintings are intended for specific sequences, they're not generally envisaged as plot storyboards. But this, however, is not strictly the case for the last painting in our hospital trio. It depicts the same private ward previously occupied by number 73, but is somewhat of a puzzle. It shows the number 6 character trying to break into the hospital. Now, as a sequence, this doesn't appear anywhere in the series, nor in any of the early drafts of the scripts. As a design, it shows every detail of this setting to be exactly the same as in our last painting. Therefore, from a set construction point of view, nothing has been gained. So why was it painted in the first place? Well, our only clues are the white lines painted around the 2 centers of activity in the painting. Both of these areas are to the proportions of a TV picture and will suggest they're indications of possible camera angles from which a break-in could be filmed. And despite not using either of these suggestions, this gives us some idea of the role of the art department. It was not limited to the design and construction of the sets, but was as far-reaching as to influence the actions seen in a finished episode.